are taking their first tentative steps onto the world stage, and platform diving is all about the younger divers, and we'll talk to Chris Snowd, my co-commentator, about that as the day goes on. But Chris, great to look down at a dive list with so many new names on it, so many countries involved.
In fact, yes, there's a mixed bunch there. If we're looking at it, we have 16 returning from 2 years ago, and there's 36, that's half of them. But looking at the standard, there are 6 divers diving that were in the Olympic finals. And of course, Shen Rilin will be the favourite. She won the Olympic Games by 55 points over Brittany Broden from Australia. So this is, they're all going to try to get into the top 18 because we have a semi-finals. Then it'll be cut to 12, and then they're all going to be chasing Shen Rilin.
Yes, I think that's the way it's going to break down. Let's take a look at our dive order. That isn't rain, I can promise you, not here in sunny Barcelona. It's just the water agitators that go down onto the surface of the pool to give the divers a sight of where they need to line up. Going down through the list, we've got Sarah Barrow and Tonya Couch of Great Britain, who dived as a pair in the synchro competition, but actually there are very few, if any, other synchro pairs that are actually split to dive. I think People's Republic of Korea are in there as well, but in general a lot of countries choosing to bring another diver in, so not those synchro pairs diving individually. There you go, that's your 36. We'll be back with the action after the break.
Fire in the water as the hottest swimmers of the year explode into action in the Gold Rush in Barcelona. It's the week of the wet set, and British Eurosport is poolside every morning and every night with expert insight from two of the greats, Peter van den Hogenband and Alan Bernard. The FINA Swimming World Championships, live from Barcelona, Sunday morning at 9 and Sunday afternoon at 5 on British Eurosport.
Watchshop.com. There's nowhere else quite like it. Over 10,000 watches, over 100 designer brands. For stylish wrists, for tough wrists, for smart wrists. From their first watch to their favorite. All with free delivery and amazing prices. For your perfect watch or as a gift, visit watchshop.com. Every time.
Delivery!
Ooh, great.
Delivery!
Just in time.
Delivery!
Perfect.
Can I ask how you can afford to buy all these amazing products?
I'm bidding on madbid.com. They're an online auction site where you can get brand new products with discounts of up to 80% off retail.
So, will I be delivering a brand new car tomorrow then?
Maybe. They auction cars too.
What was that site again?
Madbid.com.
Peugeot 2008 crossover. See the city in a different light.
Welcome back to Barcelona. Real buzz around the pool this morning. Once again, bathed in this start of the day sunlight. Got a little bit dark and dingy for yesterday's final for the men. They did struggle in that 3-metre synchro to really spot their entries, but conditions absolutely perfect this morning for the women on the 10-metre platform. 30 divers involved in this from a whole range of countries, diving across 5 rounds to get top 18 for a place in this afternoon's semi-final. We'll have coverage of this prelim phase and then the semi-finals to let you know exactly who's moved through to tomorrow's medal phase. Good crowd in once again, and as you would expect, a lot of the aquatic teams out to support their various nations, so expect to hear a decent bit of noise poolside. As Chris Snowd, my co-commentator, said, everybody will be chasing Shen Rilin, a Chinese diver looking to repeat her World Championship and Olympic success. But that really isn't about her until tomorrow. Should be comfortable qualification for her. It's going to be about who can compete with her tomorrow. Today, it's all about who can make it through in the top 18 through to the semis. So Cho Inubi of Korea starts our competition. And Chris, we haven't got that many easy dives. There's going to be some high-quality stuff today.
Yeah, I was looking through, and there's only a few at 2.4. There's many around the 3.0, and even in this round, we're going to see one of the hardest dives in the world, and it's only done by one diver, and it's coming up in 2 rounds.
Victoria.
2 goes, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Victoria Lamp will undertake that dive at 3.6, so Cho gets her campaign underway. Just a little bit close there with the feet and penalised for that. Fuka Tatsumi. A lot of dive to get in there, but has made it reasonably well. Didn't look quite as easy as it can do for some of the top divers.
Yeah, this is a forward 3.5 somersaults pike. A little bit under the knees there in the pike, could have been tighter. And because of that, she's just slipped finishing low to the water. We did see her 2 years ago, didn't qualify, didn't make the semi-finals. So she'll be hoping to improve on that.
60% of the divers in this first round using the dive we've just seen from Fuka Tatsumi. Now, this is the dive, Chris, 3.6, toughest dive we're going to see in the competition today from Tori Lamp of the USA.
There's a back arm stand double somersault, and she's going to throw in there 2.5 twists.
Oh, what a start from the American. That was just a little bit too much dive to get hold of there. There's the coach.
Yeah, Dave Parrington, former Olympic diver himself. Well, amazing to teach this dive. There's 1.5, there's 2.5 twists. Now she pikes down and gets there just in time. You can see she's still working on that. That is really tough. It should be 4.6, not 3.6.
61.20, not the reward that Tori Lamp really wants for that dive, but it's good to see that included in her programme. Mei Nagakawa, who faced to us here on Eurosport over the last 6 seasons. And a very confident diver. This Japanese diver should qualify comfortably top 18, and then it's in the balance whether she can make it through to the final from there.
Inward here, feet just a little close as she passes the platform. Good side to the water, came out the correct way, looked at the water, arms out to the side, and a steady entry.
Solid start from May. Now this next diver, Chris, this is the future. A little glimpse into the future.
Exactly. 4 months and 9 days ago was the first time we ever saw her, and she's now ranked #1 in the world.
Unbelievable for Shi Yaji. Just 14 years of age, 14 and 7 months. Not the youngest in the competition, incidentally. And that's how you should do this dive.
There's a beautiful 3.5, 70 points, definitely. Yep, 76.50. So leading for the moment.
What a start. Chen with a huge challenge in this competition. Chen is going to have company by the looks of it if it keeps going. Rovira of Cuba next up. Inward 2.5 somersault, 2.8. And it gets that one down. Same dive as we saw from Cho of Korea. A little bit safer with the feet.
Yeah. Yes, very safe. Look at that pike. Face against the top of her legs. Not quite getting the entry though. Needs to grab her hand sooner, and that's why the splash was thrown up.
Long way to go in this competition, so we'll gradually let the scores develop and give you an idea of what is going to be qualification as soon as we can. Jamie Gundry, South Africa next. Same divers we've seen from Cuba and Korea. Well, she's a powerful diver, is Gundry. She'll be a little bit disappointed with the way she dropped off the platform, but a good rip entry.
Yeah, she didn't get any ankle snap. That's where you coordinate the throw with the ping up in the air. And because of that, she is spinning quite slow. She's having to struggle and pull in tight to increase the rotation, but it didn't really work for her.
Yeah, just the 50 marks there for Jamie. Let's going back to the most popular dive in this first round, the forward 3.5, Alejandro Orozco. Well, already has an international reputation and had a lot of time at the end of that dive to line up the finish.
Yeah, very sharp. You can see how quickly she throws, and she's finishing a double just under the 10-metre platform. She finishes her triple above the 5-metre, and a good line up to finish.
Good start for Orozco. Came 6th in the synchro competition with partner Espinosa, and interestingly, Chris, no Espinosa in this prelim round.
That's right. We do have 2 Mexicans. We have Estrella, who's going to come up in diving number 24 in this round.
Dana Shashlik of Ukraine next. Same dive, and you can see the difference. You can see how some divers can make that look easy. For some divers with that slow rotation, looks very, very close to the water.
Yeah, a reasonable throw there. I didn't like the way she came out, though. She lines up in front of her face and the back goes loose. You couldn't really see it from that angle. Maybe, yeah, we can see it on the drop cam there.
54 marks then for Krasnoshlik. Ukraine not quite delivered again on this World Championship stage. So strong at European level, but it's something this week. Kyo Dion. Germany, a little bit splashy from Kyo. A little bit of over-rotation there, couldn't stop the dive.
Yeah, that was caused because of the landing. As she lands, she's way back from the end of the platform. And then that pushes her forward and down the pool, and not fully looking out on the end. Now, at this point, she should be pulling her face across the top of her legs. So not quite into that very tight pipe position, which is what judges are looking for.
54 marks for Q. This is going to be a very tough qualification to the semi-finals. Vilokomos then for Hungary. Very good dive from her. Dive synchro with partner Reisinger, who's also in this prelim competition, and that's a super start for the Hungarian.
Yeah, reverse 2.5. She's spotting the first somersault, sees the second somersault, good kick out, and then reaches back. Well, she's always in control there, nice and safe, head not too close to the board as she's passing it.
And she'll take that, 66.15, only a 2.7 tariff dive, so anything into mid-60s with that is good. Another arm stand for Lisette Ramirez. Oh, no. What a shame for the Venezuelan. That's not the way to start.
No, when you go up into your handstand, you have to hold your balance. And because she moved her hand off, well, we're not seeing it there, but it's a restart. And so you'll see the scores very, very low. There's a second referee up on the platform watching to see if the divers move around on their hands.
Oh dear. Well, 32.40, penalty of 2 points, as Chris said, spotted by the referee. Jennifer Abel down there in the audience along with Pamela Ware, cheering on Carol Ann Ware, the older sister of Pamela. The diving sisters from Canada coming in and bolstering this very strong team. Oh no, short on that dive, unfortunately.
As she threw off the top of the platform, she drew her knees up in front of her, and so the dive is spinning a little slow here. And she's finished the double way below the 10-metre platform, and then comes out too early and drops quite short of vertical. This was the second most difficult dive we're seeing so far in this round, and that's a missed dive, missed opportunity.
Tracy Vivian Tukiet of Malaysia. Malaysia with a bronze medal already. And again, just seemed to run out of room on that one.
Yeah, not looking very springy on the end. The timing was just slightly out there on the throw. As she was throwing, her feet were quite flat on the end of the platform. So 55 points.
You can see the same dive from Noemi Badki of Italy. 3.5, a very popular starter on the 10-metre platform.
She's one to watch as well. Didn't make the semi-finals last year, 2 years ago, but she is an Olympic finalist.
Again, And just ponderous and laboured in that rotation.
You would think that she'd get that entry. She's been out on the circuit. She's currently ranked 4th in the world. But it doesn't look like she's woken up this morning.
Yes, that's what we'll say. Is the excuse for the big names if they don't quite hit the dive. Shouldn't be a problem for her to progress. The quality that Batke possesses. Next up, another one of those pairings, and there are only a few that are both going to dive individually at just 40 marks for Naomi. That's not good for the Italian. Sarah Barrow, along with her synchro partner, Tonya Couch. We'll start with an arm stand. Not that much breeze, so I don't think that was the issue for the Venezuelan diver, and we certainly didn't see a problem for Tori Lamp getting into the arm stand for the USA. Big dive this one for Sarah to start her programme with, and she does have a good tariff across the board.
Yeah, very strong diver, former gymnast, and number 2 ranked in Britain behind Tonya Couch. Good control.
Made it very nicely, just a little bit splashy on that entry, but a solid enough start. Andy Banks, coach from Plymouth, watching on.
A little bit of a problem there. Now Sarah's using a technique of falling off the board and then pushing into the twist. I think the push could have happened a little earlier and snappier, and she would have had more time on the end, but 60.80 isn't too bad.
Good solid start from Barrow. Another arm stand to come. Elena Kobe and Kobe, again, seen her in action quite a bit. Has a decent reputation as a synchro diver, individually still looking to push on to a higher level. Finishes with 3.2 dives, so she'll gradually get stronger as this program goes on. But the first part of this dive, the trickiest element for the Romanian, getting into that arm stand and holding it for the 2 seconds to show the judges.
She has an interesting list. We'll talk about it in round 4.
Bent on that arm stand and a little bit off axis as she went into the water as well. Slight rotation.
Yeah, pushing off just a little early, and then see what happens here is the feet come apart, and now she is about 5 degrees off axis, and then she hits the water. She doesn't flatten her hands enough and roll early enough. So a few problems going on there.
So Kobe sub 50. This is not an easy dive round, so getting into the 50 is an absolute must. Yasmin of Indonesia. Indonesia have brought a lot of young divers to this championships, but Chris need a lot of work to polish up these programs.
Yeah, landing on the end of the diving board, throwing straight at the water, and so not really getting the first somersault up above the platform. Really needs to go back in the gym and work those takeoffs.
Yeah, marks then for Yasmin, done synchro as well, but qualified for the final. Prokopchuk's first outing for Ukraine, just diving individually in this year's competition. She's going to start with the same dive, that forward 3.5 for Lulia. And a very nice start for her.
Yeah, quite sharp on the end there. Very fast spin, using the towel on the end of the platform for a bit more traction on those feet. Different sort of style on the pike as well. She's holding with her hands, not the back of her elbows. She'll take that, 66 points.
Absolutely fine. Betancourt. Second of the Venezuelans. Ramirez already had a problem, but no arm stand for Betancourt in with 2.5 to start. Arm stand comes in round 4. And just a little unlucky there, because that dive looked pretty good to start with.
Yeah, really good technique. Now that's the way to start. She synchronised the jumping off the feet with a throw with the arms, but then just needed to look at the water slightly earlier, holds onto the pike just a fraction too long, and then lines up underneath her face, which kicks the feet over.
56, but it's okay in terms of looking at top 18. It's going to be very difficult to get out of this group. Forward 3.5 then for Cho Hyang, youngest competitor today.
Yeah, she's tiny, isn't she?
14 years and 5 months. And what you get with speed and very fast spinning, Chris, you also lose in just that slight bit of execution on the dive with the younger divers. Can all look a little bit rushed.
Well, what it is just lack of experience. 2 more months, she'll be very experienced.
Absolutely, yeah. Very good start then for Chio. Definitely one of the favourites to go through in the top 18. Another youngster, Timoshenina from Russia, 16 years of age. Russian pair gave a really good account of themselves, finishing 8th in the 10-metre synchro final.
Small problem here, right back from the end of the platform. Feet just coming underneath the platform and loose on the entry. Again, just a bit more body tension, should be able to control that rotation. Just squeeze 61 points.
Legendary Sotin watching on. In the light-coloured polo shirt with the shades. Legendary Sotin. The only divers to break the stranglehold from China in the last decade or so. Now Roselyne Fillon, bronze medal already in the bag, but partner Benfetto not diving. Oh, and that was short.
Yeah, now she really attacked the end of the board, but then suddenly there was no room at the end to get her entry. Let's see what went wrong. Well, fast throw there. And as she goes around, the first 2 somersaults, she shakes her head. You can't see it on that angle, but you might see it on the inward. It's interesting.
49.50, yes, and she does it so definitely. It's something that has been put in by her and the coaches. Alejandra Estrella, a very young competitor from Mexico, replacing Espinosa. And just washing over on that one.
Yeah, that was a shame. Just a little mistake at the start. We'll see as she swings her arms. Her chest goes forward there, just a fraction. Yeah, just needs to react quicker on the kick out and place the feet more towards the other end of the pool, and she'll nail that dive. Slight miss on the entry, good technique.
From Mexico to Colombia, Carolina Murillo. Yes, very good from her. A little bit splashy on the entry, but she'll be happy with that start.
Yeah, you can see as she's coming around on the triple somersault, she's already sucking in her stomach for a tight out. Little open on the pike, but there she's definitely, well, good sight to the water. She took a peek at it and then really reacted well.
Great start from the Colombian, 63 marks. As Nursing of Hungary jogs by. Brittany Broban then has a little personal demon to overcome coming into this competition. Clipped her foot on the 1 metre in yesterday's final. Really did seem to put her off her stride. But this is her apparatus. This is where she excels.
Wow, she finished so high. She finished that dive at 8 metres. Amazing jump. Almost time to put another somersault. Watch this. Straight up in the air. First somersault there. Second somersault here. That's 8 metres. And she floats around. Oh, a shame. If she'd have nailed that, that would have been perfect on technique.
2.7 on the tariff, so clearly room for manoeuvre to increase the tariff on that dive. 45.90. Broban off to a tidy enough start, but not the marks that she was looking for on that dive. Twister then from Amelia Kozad of the USA. Church de Familia in the background. Gaudí's architectural masterpiece and part of the backdrop here to this wonderful scene in Barcelona. Yes, a good start from Kozad.
Yeah, brilliant jump there. This is 1.5 twists. Finishes there, into the pike, now looks at the water. Good punch for the water. Just could extend the toes a little bit more. Very nice twisting technique. Now from here, it does look close, but it's not. It's just the angle of the camera.
Excellent score, 70.4. Olympic champion, world champion. Straight away, Chen Rulin only just got back to the top of the board to catch the 20-year-old as she flew.
Yeah, she doesn't hang around. That's good. Well, entry's just a little heavy. Well, very fast throw. Again, as we go through the semi-finals and finals, she'll sharpen up.
70.50, let's be honest, she can pretty much fall off the board through these 5 rounds and she'll be top 18. Pam, another medalist at these championships and another quality performer from Malaysia, but that too heavy on the entry.
Good start, head was up, good pike, and again, different type of pike. She's holding her arms around the back of the legs along her calf muscles.
Rosset performed well for France the other day, missed out unfortunately due to one error in the 1 metre, but no real strength in depth coming through from the French team. Laura Marino, a new face for us here on Eurosport. There is Rosset watching on. Waiting for this new generation of French divers to arrive on the scene. Canada in a similar situation. Didn't really get the elevation on the dive, but it was okay.
Yeah, they'll take that. Again, it will be hard to make it through. It's got reasonable degree of difficulty, though. There's one low tariff dive. You can just see the toes a little close. She passed the end of the diving board.
56 marks for Laura. Difficult as well when you haven't dived before. If you've had your synchro competition, you feel like you've warmed up a little bit, you've been seen by the judges, which is exactly what Sophia Reisinger has done alongside Kormos, finishing 10th in that synchro. And that is unlucky. What a great start to that dive. Absolute firepower at the top, but couldn't control it.
It looks like she gets her hands caught here, and she pushes her arms back away from the water before lining up. And it just took too long to grab her hands. That's why she went flying over.
53.20, not too much damage done. But remember, top 18 for a place in the semi-finals this afternoon. Maria Courgeot, partner Julia Stoller not diving in the individuals, so only a single German diver here. And Courgeot was not that convincing, I have to say, in the synchro competition. Stoller even less so.
Yeah, she's one of these divers that we think will always get there in the final, but she keeps missing out. I remember 2 years ago, she was doing really well and just didn't get into the semi-finals. She was in that 19th spot.
55.50. 17th place at the moment with 4 divers to come. Kim Soo-ji of Korea in 2.5, 2.8 on the tariff for her first round. And seemed to have a lot of time to come out there, but didn't line it up right.
Yeah, same problem that some of the other divers have. It's just a little loose as she's coming out, arms in the wrong position, and then the body just buckles under the force of the water.
Remember, for some of these divers, this is their final. This prelim competition is all about getting to the next stage. Pechikova, already seen her partner Tymoshenina dive. Russian with a forward 3.5. Much less of a run-up than the others, and just let that one go over.
Yeah, it just took 3 paces there before getting to the end. Very upright, that's good. Pike's good. Squeezing hard there. Well, she looked at the water correctly, but she needed her arms more out to the side before lining up around the ears. So a little loose on the entrantry.
49.50. Second of the British synchro pair, Tonya Couch. Both she and Barrow individually looked in pretty good nick. Can't put it together in the synchro competition. Flutter with the feet at the start of that twist, but a very good entry.
Yeah, could have had a little more jump, and there the knees could be locked out more. That would help with the toe point. Now Tonya should make it through to the semis and the final. She's a very a consistent diver, and she's actually currently ranked 8th in the world at the moment from the Grand Prix.
Yeah, good start as well. A little smile across to the coach. He's confirmed she's happy. That's Kim Jin-ok of the People's Republic of Korea. Prepares to finish this round. Back to the forward 3.5 for Kim. A real exhale as she hit that jump at the top. A lot of effort went into that, and it's worked well.
Yeah, good technique, very experienced diver. Look at that, excellent. Two-time Olympian. She's bound to go through to the finals.
70.5, looking good. We are flying through these 36 divers. First round complete. We'll take a break there. Welcome back. Straight into the start of our second round. Cho Inubi getting things underway for Korea, and then Fuka Tatsumi for Japan.
Wow, that's a tough dive. Reverse 2.5 somersaults pike. Might as well just do a reverse 3.5. 52.20 for her second dive.
Yeah, keep an eye on those graphics to see roughly where those scores are placing the athletes. We'll try and keep you up to date with where we think the score will be to get top 18. Victoria Lamp. And now the pressure's on for Victoria, because didn't nail her big opening dive at 3.6, and now the tariff drops, Chris, for these remaining rounds.
Yeah, she has a 2.7 here. Instead of the pike, she's doing it tuck. And then she goes through. She's got 2.9, 3.2. That was an easy dive, though. Front 3.5 tuck. Tuck had been a bit tighter.
Tall, rangy diver. Get the feeling that Tori is more of a spinner, more of a twister than a spinner. But definitely Nakagawa is both. Quality diver is Mei Nakagawa.
Yeah, currently ranked 10th. And this is such a good takeoff on a 3.5. Face across the top of the legs, spots the water well, locks out, really squeezed her ears as she hit the water.
Good score as well, 70.5. See Yaji, China, second youngest in this competition. As Chris said, she really has burst on the scene. This is Chen's main rival. First, after the first round, in with 3.5 somersault. Divers not hanging around. That is a miss for C.
Yeah, very good start. Just checking to see if she was close to the end of the board. Can't see from this point. Now she finishes the triple there. That's above the 5 metre. Just needed to come out a little earlier. Chin's tucked in, and that's why her feet rolled over on the end. But again, it's really a warm-up for the semi-final.
It's a miss at 70. Something quite a lot of these divers in this prelim round would certainly pay a lot of money for. Anya then. From Cuba. And a miss for her as well. We're going to see quite a few misses in this prelim phase.
Yeah, poor technique on the jump. It's going away from the diving board. Just here, leaning forward. She's travelling forward. And then what happens, consequence of that is you can't stop the dive. It just keeps rolling and rolling over on the end.
A bit of frustration for the Cuban coaches. Again, forward 3.5, this time from Jamie Gundry of South Africa, 26th position at the moment. And once again, splashy, and that's a shame, Chris, because that was travelling well.
Yeah, the judges will be watching the entries. Just a little heavy-handed on the start. She did try to get her hands to the water, but didn't lock out the arms by the ears. And what happens, you're hitting the water at just over 35 miles an hour. And if you're not fully locked out, your whole body, it just it shudders and it buckles.
Roscoe with her arm stand.
Just shows how strong the divers have to be. You got to press up like that on the end of the diving board. 32 feet high.
So yeah, flattened off with the feet coming out of the twist, and then a very heavy entry.
Yeah, just a little bit too much drift there. Crossover feet, flat, then point. She got there in the end.
56, making heavy work of this for Roscoe. She should be a comfortable qualifier, top 18. She should be a comfortable qualifier, in all honesty, to the final as well.
That's right, she did semi-final 2 years ago. And her final place, I think, was about 16th.
Krasnoshlik for Ukraine. Nice tariff dive in the second round. Miss for her.
Just as she took off, her shoulders went back before she threw, and so the first somersault didn't really pop up in the air. But the real problem is here on the out. She comes around on triple, the knees stay bent too long, and she doesn't snap out of it fast enough.
51.20. There's going to be a lot of athletes around about that bubble. It's going to, I'm sure, come down to a big dive off in that final round for a place in the semi. Kia Dion from Germany next up, her arm stand dive.
And the straddle up, that's why she has her feet separated. You have to be very flexible to get into this position. Here's the strength.
Not very straight. And not a long hold, followed by a miss, and I'm afraid those first two rounds will probably cost Jong a place in the semi.
Yeah, everything's going wrong. She did get to a full upright position. Her feet were tucked underneath the platform as she flicked off. Doesn't grab her hands as she goes through the water. That's a mega miss.
Very upset. Understandable. Thousands of hours of training put in, and you want to come away with your personal goals being found or met. Kormos next then. Start for both the Hungarians. They do use this easier degree of difficulty dive program, so they have to hit everything perfectly, Chris, or they can't compete.
She's looking really good. I like the reverse in the first round. Good jump here, good reach back, and she's doing really well. She's currently in 7th, and that's going to help as well.
Yeah, good reward for Kormos, so going very well. More action to come after the break. Stay with us.
Summer menu has arrived. With the cheddar deluxe, the Mediterranean chicken, mozzarella dippers, and the mixed share box with McNuggets and McBites for a limited time only. Just like the British summer.
Welcome back. The coverage again in this prelim competition with Caroline Ware. Ramirez just going for Venezuela. I think she'll be pushing top 18. Caroline, not a great start for her. And needs a dive, and she's not finding them at all. Big miss.
Yeah, after missing her in with 3.5, she's just tried too hard here. Very fast spin. It's only a 2.5 somersaults. Feet out, the wrong place. She needed to place her feet on the double at the water and float the dive around. And that's 2 rounds and 2 big misses.
A stinger as well, that one. That's physically painful as well as mentally painful.
It certainly is. You feel it right across the top of your toes.
Tukiet. Next up for Malaysia. Pang really leading the way for Malaysian female diving. And this group of athletes coming through to follow her. I think we're going to see some superstars from Malaysia. A little ragged again from Tukiet, not quite hitting her straps in this prelim round.
She did do her best on the entry, but she just didn't give herself enough height. You can see very scraggly there, legs apart, slightly off angle as she's somersaulting. Wow, she jumped way to the side. Nearly out of shot of the camera.
56. Still recoverable in terms of top 18.
Yeah, she went 55 in the first dive, 56. She needs to now get into the high 60s for the last 3 dives.
Terrible start for Batki, but that's out the way now. Into 4 rounds of solid diving. Oh, dear me. Well, Naomi Batki has put herself under real pressure here.
Well, I don't think you can recover from that. She was second to last before going into this dive. No jump, feet apart, struggling to get into the pipe, and runs out of room. She needed another 2 meters at least.
She's performed well in the World Cup Series and came to this World Championships tipped for success.
Yeah.
May not even make it out of the prelims.
Currently ranked 4th in the world, and an Olympic finalist, she finished 8th.
Doesn't make sense, really. And there we go. Maybe she's not an outdoor diver. Sarah Barrow for Great Britain, 15th at the moment, so inside that qualification zone. Top 18 go through, remember, to the semi-finals.
Oh, that was close.
Just a little bit tight. She was tight, actually, on this dive in the synchro competition.
Yeah, she's just very, very close there. Could have taken it back a little bit. But it's higher degree of difficulty. She scores. Oh, hasn't got over the 60-point mark. They've marked her down because of the distance.
Yeah, good call. And that is that's a shame for Sarah Barrow. A little bit of pressure on her now. Ikobe then for Romania, forward 3.5. You'll recognise this dive when you see it already in this prelim phase. And that's one of the better ones that we've seen.
Yeah, better for her. She only scored 50 in the first round. Needed this. That's why she's back in 32nd at the moment. Good jump. A little bit open there, but good out. Spots the water. Saw that punch. She punches with her knuckles, though, not with the flat hand. And that's why it doesn't get the rip sound going through the water.
Good, solid 60 marks for the Romanian. And Adini Yasmin of Indonesia. Oh, that's a horrible, horrible miss.
Oh, it's a complete backdrop, and that is so painful.
Ouch, that's going to hurt, and that could be some physical damage there as well.
Yeah, she's got lost, completely lost here. And you can see a backdrop. She knew as she's coming out that she missed it. Boy, she's tough. Straight out the water.
Wow. Well, sucked it in, miss, no score. But that could be bruised kidneys or anything for Yasmin. That's not pleasant. They're built of tough stuff, these divers, I tell you. Prokopchuk then for Ukraine. Unfortunately for Lulia, same dive, will have heard the noise at the top of the platform and realised that was no rip entry from Yasmin. It's closer to what it should look like, but still not Prokopchuk's best.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she actually threw to the side too. We see from what... Yeah, she's a little bit off angle, but very low coming out. Struggling to get the full stretch, the full reach out. And she does jump slightly to the side. A little scraggly there. Scores will be low.
Little look over from Maria Betancourt ahead of her second round dive. Prokopchuk's score confirmed at 60.80, so Lilia ticking along quite nicely. 2.5 then for Betancourt, right on the bubble. Nice first round dive though. Needs to find a decent entry. Which she does. Just about got that round, Chris.
Yeah, it could have been better on the out. Good jump. So here we see her spring off the platform, now pull forward into the pike. But here, her arms come over the top, and that kills the rotation just too much. This is good technique going into the pike. The head isn't back, it's forward. And as she comes around, she will be looking at the end of the platform. But a poor reach back, she could have gone into 70 points with that.
Jo Hyun, North Korea, her second round dive, as we work our way through the 36 involved in this competition this morning. And that's fine as well. Korea with a real chance of getting 2 through in the top 18 here.
Yeah, she was just ahead of Venezuelan. Good start. Little mistake on the entry. As she hits, she then changes direction and scoops under the water and comes up by the side. She'd just been slightly tighter, got rid of that splash.
57.60. One of the divers that will be very much on that top 18 bubble. Timoshina, very careful placement there of the ponytail ahead of this arm stand dive. Tough dive this. Well, problems from the start, Chris, and that's a miss.
Yeah, as soon as her feet got to the top of the handstand, she was off. She should have held it longer, so she's going to have points deducted. And then here, not enough push off the hands, and a very open tuck, and almost breaks her back as she goes through the water. As her feet are going through the water, her head is almost coming back out.
9.60. Timoshina under pressure now. Sheepish walk towards the hot tub. Two of the same dives back to back now. Roselyne Fillon of Canada will be the first to attempt this. 3.5 somersault, down in 29th position at the moment. Fillon, that is not where she should be. And that will help her recovery.
Very slow this morning for her. Yeah, just not getting the full jump, very open and tuck. She's just barely on her kneecaps. You can grab more of the shin. She finished so slow, it was like smelling the chlorine before kicking out.
69.30.
Well, she was lucky with that score.
Yeah, that's closer to where she needs to be in terms of making the next stage. What you tip to do so. Alejandra Estrella, Mexico, same dive. And that was a long, long hold, and the reason for that, she's not confident with this particular dive.
She gets the jump, but not a fast arm swing, so it just doesn't spin. There's the jump, really good jump, but it's just dying, it's just dropping like a stone, and she knows it too. There's not a lot she could have done with that.
A few big misses in this round. Estrella the latest at 29.70. And those that didn't dive well in the first round will be feeling that at least the field is coming back to them. Carolina Murillo, good start from the Colombian in round one. And 3.5 in this second round. Intent classic gymnast profile. Oh, and she's missed.
Well, what happened there? It looked like her right hand got stuck on her shin and she couldn't get her hands out. Oh, very close there. It's low. Yeah, her legs remain bent. I think that either a slip on the hand as she's going around or something put her off on that last part, the triple. Just 30 points.
Yeah, this has been a round of errors. Same dive to follow from Brittany Broban. 34th position for the Australian. Very unfamiliar territory for the Olympic medalist.
No,
it's not great, but it's certainly better.
Yeah, again, she can squeeze through into the final, then, or semi-final at least. Hopefully she'll sharpen up. Yeah, a little late grabbing the hands and getting the hands towards the water. Interesting tuck, pulls the ankles apart rather than the knees apart.
62.40, work still to be done by Brittany. Lily Kozad settles herself down before this arm stand. Back 2 somersaults with 1.5 twists for 3.2 on the degree of difficulty. There's an unusual route into the handstand, Chris.
Yeah, it's a kick up. So you just kick one leg up around the side. Comes from the cartwheel family in movements.
Yeah, just about got through that one.
Yeah, she likes her twisters. She did really well with a back twister in the first round. Good flick off. There's the 1.5. There's the pike and punches the water. 3.2 degree of difficulty. Mid-60s.
Gets her up there into the 60s. That's where you need to be.
Unless you're Chinese, and then you're in the 70s.
Well, of course, yeah. Chen will maintain a high standard along with Su in this competition. Here is the double Olympic champion and defending world champion, Chen Rilin. A little bit of a masterclass, isn't it, with each round that we see? So there is the dive. Now this is how you do the dive.
Well, she uses the platform like it's a springboard. So the first double is there. That was just underneath the platform. Triple, she's out at about 6 meters. See that little springy jump at the beginning? That's what makes the difference between her inward 3.5s. Again, it's not close. It's just the angle of the TV there.
76.80. All is good for the reigning world champion. Pang needs a decent dive here just to underline her position. Yeah, that's more like it. Just a little unlucky with the out. It was very nice, but killed the rotation and just came up short.
Yeah, need a final reach back. Didn't like the takeoff here. The head goes back, but then forward. And then long arm. Just misses the feel on the hands. With the head going back at the start, just takes a fraction longer to get into the pipe. I'm sure that'll be sharper in the semi-finals.
62.35 for Pang. He's absolutely fine in terms of maintaining a top 18 spot. Marino then for France. 17th position after a very nervy first round dive, but she got through it okay. Quite a simple dive, but a good solid arm stand and a very nice entry.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful handstand. Held it well, no wobbles, confident. Like the flick off, there you see the jump off the hands, and then into the pike, then look at the water, and then punches for it. Good dive. Shame it's only 2.4 degree difficulty.
Coaches agree. Big smile this time around. 57.60. Keep it together. Sophia Reisinger to dive next. Younger sister in the crowd with the clipboard taking the notes. Divers very often involved in the coaching process. Well, she spins beautifully, doesn't she, Chris? That's a lover. Great twister from the Hungarian.
Yeah, back 1.5 somersaults, 2.5 twists. Jumps. Now 1.5. Look at the head position. Perfectly straight, no wobbles at all. And unlike most of the divers we've seen so far, she actually kept her feet together.
58.80. Sophia. That slightly restricted tariff was always a problem on her dive list. Arm stand then for Munia Kurjo, just outside the top 18 after a slightly lackluster first round from the German.
She's going to straddle up, and she's going to do a back arm stand double, 1.5 twists. So we'll be able to compare it to Sophia's. I didn't like the technique at all. You'll notice lots of movement going on with the legs, but there's no jump off the hands. The hands are too wooden. Yeah, hardly any jump, so it just drops to the water. Twist is good. Just a poor technique at the start.
62-40. Keeper in the hunt. 4-3.5 from Kim Soo-ji of Korea. Just seemed to be spinning and falling forever and ran out of room to finish the dive properly.
Yeah, it lands upright, so a good upright position, but the jump and throw was not coordinated. And as she said, she's feeling like she's dropping like a stone. She only about 2.5 meters time to grab her hands on the end.
It does so for 54. Same 3 dives now from our 3 final competitors. Bechikova will get things underway with this inward 3.5 somersaults. Not a good start from the young Russian. 2 clearly very talented divers, though, Russia have brought to this competition to unveil on the world stage. And a miss, I'm afraid, for Bechikova.
Yeah, it didn't feel very comfortable spinning around because she drew her knees up in front of her. And then you just can't get the feel of the triple coming around, and this is why she misses the out. She spots it too late. And she just hangs there. She doesn't punch for the water. That's another miss.
48. Coaches will have a very good idea of which dives they think their particular challenges will get in trouble with. Tonya Couch then comfortably inside the top 18. Same dive. And she's short.
Yeah, very good start, and hesitated. Very unusual. Tonya can get 9s on this dive. That is a good start. Spinning fast. But here she hesitates. Oh, she didn't kick the legs out at the beginning. So she was in 6th, and that's really going to hurt her placings.
Same marks as Tom Daly from the same diving club as Tonya, watching on. Good friends, the pair. And the last diver in each round will be Kim Jin-ok. Her position, very talented diver. She shows how this one should be done.
No.
No, there's the answer.
Well, 3 in with 3.5s and 3 misses. So Russia and Great Britain only got 48 points. Well, she is struggling. She pulls the knees so far apart. It doesn't help her, though.
Just marginally better for Kim Jin-ok. So, second round of diving complete for our 36 in this prelim phase. Top 18, remember, all important. Chen and Si putting on their own little masterclass there at the top. Amelia Kozad, good dive from her in the second round. Nakagawa ticking over nicely. And then you go right down towards 18. Both of the British girls in there. Cujo from Germany, happy enough. Fillon, already a medalist at these championships, in 11th. But it's this next page that is all important. At the moment, Laura Marino is there, just ahead of Sophia Reisinger. And that is going to be a very tight battle as this competition goes on. Brittany Broban at the moment, not inside the top 18. That's the big news so far.
Diving sensation Tom Daly aims to repeat his astonishing feat of 4 years ago.
Tom Daly is the world champion on the 10-metre platform.
Diving World Championships, men's 10-metre platform. Saturday from 9 AM, live on British Eurosport HD.
Welcome back. Just checking out some of the slow-mo action from the second round. And Chris, something we do expect to see at the prelim phase, quite a lot of dives being missed, and 1 or 2 dramatically so.
You know, I think because, first of all, it's the morning, and it's very hard to get your body spinning around in the morning. And also, there's a lot of nervous divers just thinking they have to make it into that top 18. And when you start to think negatively like that, the misses come. If you could just dive like you dive in training, then you'd be ripping all the time.
Great from Cho. coaches, remember, have seen these dives hundreds and hundreds of times from their athletes in training.
Yeah,
They'll know which dive's going to be strong, which dives won't be so strong. And for Cho, that's going to put her under a lot of pressure. Tatsumi, the coach, just indicating he wants to see good extension at the start of this back 3.5. Well, you can see why he was doing that, Chris, because she chopped that one right off, but got away with it.
Yeah, she got her arms over the head, but she didn't push off the top of her legs. But she did the right thing after that. See, the knees are still bent there. But here, she hangs on, she's low, but she kicks the feet up and quickly reaches back. Poor technique, good kick out. This is 3.3 degree of difficulty. Good effort.
Yeah, 72.60. That was her banker in terms of a higher tariff, and it's put some points in the bank, valuable points as well. Now, Victoria Lamp just inside the top 18, hasn't dived well so far, but really needs it on this inward 3.5.
Wobble.
It's not happening for her at the moment, but should still maintain her position or thereabouts.
Yeah, Dave Harrington was just indicating that she didn't get a hold of her hands, but the start is the problem. Through down, and very open in the tuck. She's not pulling in. And so, if you pull in on your tuck as you're going around, it actually accelerates the spin, and it's easy to get out.
Mei Nakagawa, comfortable at the moment, inside the top 18, well inside the top 12.
Yeah, after that brilliant front 3.5 pike, she's now 4th at the moment.
Well, we've sung Mei's praises on Eurosport before. Just let that one wash over, so a lot of splash being thrown up.
Yeah, I've seen her do this better. Same problem, just the tuck, a little open, a little slow. And as she reached back, she didn't lock out the rest of her body. 52 points for her, Olympic finalist, is a miss.
Yashi. Armstand at 2 somersaults with 1.5 twists. Chen's biggest challenger, surely.
She's just half a point behind, but I don't think they're thinking about that at the moment. That's a confident handstand. Oh, a little mistake there. Feet went loose as she was coming through on the twist. So falling a bit too far away, slow into the twist, feet loose and then together again, and rolls the entry.
Wow, mid-60s, that is a miss. Sonia Rivera then for Cuba. 2 poor rounds from her, leaving her in 29th position. Got to find it from somewhere in these closing rounds, but she does have the tariff to do it. Very strange up into that pike position, Chris. There seemed to be no movement from the lower part of the body at all.
Yeah, no jump, and also stops her arms there and round the side, so it was really wide with her arms, so spinning slow, and the legs just dropped towards the water. Very short.
This probably cost Rivera a place in the top 18. Virtually impossible to recover from that. Not impossible, because, you know, there are other variables around you. It depends what the other divers do.
Well, definitely there's a problem going on with Jamie's dives. She's only going to do a reverse dive. Divers have to cover all the groups, and she can't do reverse spinning dives. This is her only option.
Well, we saw it from Paola Espinosa at the Universiade. Clearly an issue, and that's a fine dive, you know, that's great, but the degree of difficulty will not allow her to score much at all.
And reasonably, well, it's just an average reverse dive. The pike wasn't tight enough.
9.5, and if you take the synchro competition with the first 2 rounds of easy diving and say you've got to be into the 50s, Well, she should have been mid-40s to high 40s on that 1.9, but couldn't get there. Alejandra Orozco, 6th position for the very young Mexican. A little flutter with the feet, but overall a very good dive. It is a young person's game, isn't it, Chris, platform diving?
It certainly is. I think the first time we saw Shen Rulin, where she got a silver medal in the Worlds, right before the 2008 Olympics, she was only 13 years old and 8 months. And C is at the moment, how old is she?
14 years and 7, so a little bit older.
And Brittany Brogan was 16 when she got an Olympic silver medal.
So yes, definitely for the teenagers diving off the high board. Orozco with a good score, high 60s, so that keeps the Mexican challenge well and truly on course. Krasnoshlik next for Ukraine. There's a restricted degree of difficulty, so all of her dives have to be spot on.
Yeah, this is a 2.9, and after this we've got 2.7 and another 2.9. Good back 2.5. Out at the right time, reasonably tight body. Doesn't get the feel in the hands, so not a rip entry, but it is vertical.
So 65.25, good scoring from her. Q Dion really has cost herself a place in the next round, unfortunately, with those first 2 rounds of diving. So despite the fact that she has a decent degree of difficulty across these last 3 rounds, it's going to be virtually impossible for her to recover.
Yeah, she needs a bit of luck now, really. Back in 32nd place.
Oh, it's a great attempt.
Yeah, maybe, you just never know. With that high degree of difficulty, she can knock out some 60 points and the others keep missing, then there may just be a chance. Very low finishing dive, but at least she reaches back at the last minute. Got a half-decent entry. Nearly 60 points, maybe not enough.
Oh, that's going to be too tough, I think, for her. Look, almost then. How well has she dived so far today? In with 2.5 then for this 3rd round, but in 5th place at the moment, the Hungarian. And making things look easy, but she should do, because these are relatively easy dives at 2.8, then 2.8, and then she finishes on a forward 3.5 for 3.
Just a small mistake on the out. Yeah, she hesitated. She punched out twice with her hands. Went 65 on the first 2 dives, so she's now in the 50s. So I think eventually she'll lose that 5th ranking.
Yes, she's going to drop down through the numbers as we go on. Zet Ramirez, 31st position for the Venezuelan, who got off to that poor start with the missed arm stand dive. And another miss, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it looks like hard work, doesn't it? It's spinning very fast, but then when she comes out, there's hardly any room. So the throw is good. Again, very close. And they did, in the instructions to the judges, they are told, or they are reminded, you can deduct scores from anywhere from a half to a 2 if you think it's dangerously close.
Caroline Ware really frustrated after her 2nd round dive. Needs a bit of confidence back, but the arm stand is not always the dive to recover that confidence on.
Yeah, she's taking her time.
Riscard didn't feel comfortable there, so got that sorted.
Well, she's having problems here.
Far too quickly away. Somehow she's pulled it off, but that wasn't the best of starts.
Yeah, something definitely going wrong. You saw her hesitate, and before she put her hand down, then put it down again. Didn't hold the handstand very high in that tuck with the hands on top of the knees, but somehow she gets it down straight. take that. Take the entry at least. Amazing.
2.60, still no smile yet from Caroline, because she knows that that's going to help her, but it's still a dim and distant opportunity to qualify top 18. Tukiet needs a good round here.
Caught the water on the back of her shoulders. Now, problem on the start, as she swings, the head position, back too far, now forward. You can see her head moving as she comes around and spots the board first of all, then the water, but out far too early, very short, 44 points.
Frustration.
Yeah. She's saying, why did I come out that early?
Now, what's going on with Batki? Dear me.
40 points on the first 2 dives. Just 3 places from the bottom of the pack.
Well, that's more like it. Much more of a rip entry from Batki.
There's a little bit of whistling going on there from Kenyatta as well. Good. Yeah, good the punch out there. So that'll be... Well, they didn't like it. It's just 7s and 6.5s.
Well, I'm afraid Naomi Batki now staring at an exit for Italy. Sarah Barrow forward 3.5, just flexing the knees. Going to need that spring. 14th position at the moment. Honestly, she and Tonya Couch are better than that. Just about got that one round.
Yeah, out at the right time, but she didn't get the right feel on her hands, so didn't get time to lock out the hands on the end. That's a good throw. That's a good pike. Very good pike. Face right down on the legs. Just, she hit the water, just patted the water rather than grabbing her hands. She's slightly off form, I would say.
Yeah, 57 marks for Barrow. It's that left shoulder as well. That's a concern. By good last round, so if she's going to recover her situation, that was the way to do it. Needs to follow that up now.
Oh, very poor out. Body's loose going through the water, and again not grabbing the hands. It'll be a low score. Throwing down, it's safe. Squeezing hard. Here, very loose. Big splash. Standing right there on the corner of the board. That's a 3-metre wide board. You've got plenty of room to stand in the middle.
60.80. Well, some consolidation there for the Romanian diver. We'll take a short break there.
Lucky because I never give up. Gifted because I don't take shortcuts. Focused because I see past the finish line. Fastest because speed is my competition. Legend because I'm one step ahead.
The Samsung Smart Camera NX300. Fast shutter speed meets hybrid autofocus. Shoot fast, share faster.
Back just in time for Yulia Prokopchuk of Ukraine. Yasmin has also dived. Unusually a distance from the board there, Lulia, but once again got a great out and managed to get the finish.
Yeah, flying out to sea here. Off she goes. That way. Long way from the board. Good out though. Strong on the end. Almost gone past the line of the judges actually. She was so far back.
66.70. Not being too badly penalised for that.
Yeah, judge number 2 didn't like it. There was a low score there.
Betancourt. Venezuelan. Going forward 3.5. Didn't quite hit it in the last round. genuinely far better dive.
Yeah, as long as she goes through in the 60s, she'll remain in the top 12, 9th at the moment. Good start, great pull in. Just a little loose on the end. Yeah, again, high 60s, that's good.
Yeah, good score for Maria. Timoshenina will be following Cho Hyun. Cho, this youngster, expected to get through, but you do get inconsistency with young athletes, no matter how hard they train.
Oh, she's well strapped up, both the wrist and the shoulder.
Oh, maybe that's why that's a nasty miss.
Yeah, I'm wondering if, because her shoulder is all strapped up, whether she's pulled something, and it would have been on the entry, because you really need to... Your shoulders are working at this point. Oh, she actually missed her hands. I saw her grab her hands, and as she hit the water, her hands were apart, so she took the impact on her head. That's painful.
2-5, yes, painful indeed, score and physically. Timoshenina now followed by Filion. They will do the same dive. Needs a dive after that problem arm stand in round 2, does the Russian. Oh, and again a miss.
Yeah, she's on the way down to the back of the pack. After the first round she was 12th, and then as she said, the arm stand she was back in 26, and this inward is a complete miss. Not only does she reach her angle for the camera, it's just, I'm not sure it's the right angle, because it makes them look close when they're not.
With a few 2-0, I think Timoshenina knows that her challenge is probably done for today. So as the Canadian coach watches on, as Roselyne Filion already with a medal in the bag, prepares for her dive. 11th position at the moment in the 3.5 somersault, same as we've just seen from Timoshenina. And she's missed, and that's a big miss for Filion.
Yeah, I don't understand why. She's standing in the right position, she's up on her toes, but then everything becomes woodeny. There's no spring up in the air. She's pulling the knees apart to increase the rotation. It hasn't worked, and there's just no room to get a vertical entry. In fact, she pikes slightly out of it and remains piked as she hits the water.
Poor score for Filion. They lose a couple of positions there. Yeah, looking forward to this dive from the Mexican Alejandra Estrella. 2.5 somersaults for 1.5 twists. See if she can pull this one off. Missing the last round for her. And unfortunately, just too much dive.
Yeah, she hasn't got the strength to pull into the pike after the twist, and so it doesn't rotate. There's the twist, 1.5. But at this point, this is where she's struggling. That's a very open pike. Knees aren't locked out, and just doesn't get the dive cranking. Twist action is okay. Just needs more conditioning, better body tension, and stronger arms.
40 dead, so Estrella, we can say her challenge is over. Willow continues to dive steadily. The Colombian doing enough at the moment.
Slow spinning, but she's spotting well. Looks at the water there, hangs on because it's slow, and then pulls. 49 points, nearly breaking 50.
She's going backwards, unfortunately, in this competition from her point of view. Arm stand for Broben. I think this is the big news so far today, but in 22nd position, she has the dive tariffs to recover the situation. She needs 3 solid rounds, Chris, and she'll be top 18.
That's right, she's only 4 spots out of the top 18, and then she can start off fresh. Back arm stand double, 1.5 twist, 3.2.
Legs a bit shaky, but that's probably good enough dive to get her the point she's after.
Yeah, I think she's just slightly too piked here at this point. so she doesn't get the flick with her feet, and that's why she's under the platform. But she gets the straight entry. She's quite lucky there. So her scores will be reasonable. Technically not that good a dive though.
Well, 60.80. Not really going to kick on too far with that unless others make mistakes.
Which I think they will.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of misses today. Amelia Kozad, reverse 3.5. Does have a very good degree of difficulty, does Amelia, and he's diving very well at the moment. Oh, and our first miss of the competition for Amelia.
Yeah, very few girls are doing a reverse 3.5 somersaults. We see the back 3.5 somersaults, but too slow here. She holds on a long time and wasn't sure of the kick out. So from third, she's already dropped down to 8. We've still got 9 divers to go.
Ouch. And a great round for Amelia. Followed, of course, by the reigning world champion, Chen Rulin. Can see exactly the same dive from Chen, followed by Pang of Malaysia, both arm stand dives.
We could see an 80-point dive if she's sharp on the entry.
Well, it's unbelievable. The arm stand was just exquisite, and then the dive itself, brilliant.
But she hasn't got her entries working. There's the 1.5 twist, very good. Like that out. Arms completely out to the side, good T position. Probably be 70s. It is.
75-20, room for improvement, but the defending champion is going to be comfortably through this round. Hung, same dive, 8th position at the moment for the Malaysian. Already the medal heroine for Malaysia in a World Championship and Olympic sense.
I think she's the only Olympic medalist for Malaysia except for badminton.
Well, just about got it round. Not quite as much control as we saw from Chen, but it's good scoring.
Chen went 75 points. This may be just slightly lower. She should be able to squeeze just about a 70 point out of the judges, though. Flicks off well. A little loose there on the twist. Not as good a position as Chen Rulin. There you see the effort going into the twist. She's just pushed off the board there.
73.60, very good score from the Malaysian diver. Marino to follow. She is the athlete currently on that bubble in 18th position. And France look like they should have representation in the next round.
Yeah, very nervous, stood there for a long time. This is a dive that she's just wondering how to judge it. Very fast spin, or just slow it down, because it's only 2.5 somersaults. If you crank it too fast, you can't control the entry. Just about got there on the entry. 6.5s and 7s from the judges. The highest, that 7.5, will be knocked off.
60.90 should give us some protection for that 18th position. Sophia Reisinger then with her arm stand. 2.4 on the degree of difficulty. This is relatively straightforward.
Yeah, she's lost her handstand.
Unfortunately, that dive did not happen for Sophia.
When you're upside down in your handstand and you're losing it, you're thinking about the drifting, and she forgot to push off the top of her hands. So there was no jump into the double. And then, as she realised that, she comes out too early and drops short of vertical.
Slow tariff, poor dive equals low score. Courgeot, 2.5 then for the German height position. 2.9 then, 3.2 is the finish, so got a lot of work to do here, Maria. It's a decent start to the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, she'll get 60 points for it. In 13th place at the moment, and lots of people dropping around her, so it'll be fine. It's a little close for the toes. Good out position. Spots the water. Oh, nearly.
Yeah, nearly there.
Still think it'll be enough, though.
I think her partner, Julia Stoller, was watching on, applauding, not competing in this one. Kim Soo-ji for Korea, 2.7. Degree of difficulty, and you should see an entry like that off a 2.7 dive.
Yeah, I do like the reverse 2.5s, if it's done well and controlled. Now, looking at the water kit, yeah, she had her eyes open, that's important.
58.05. Second of the Russians, Katerina Petkova. Again, she has the tariff across her dives, but she hasn't been making them. It's now or never.
Yeah, it really is. Missed that in with 3.5, just for 48 points.
Oh, ripping sound going through the water, but it was mighty tight.
Yeah, how did she get that down straight? She finished so low. Well, she's squeezing for dear life here. It's a slow spin and just kicks the feet up to the sky and manages somehow to pull the diver around. Amazing.
Typical gamble from Ekaterina, but it's paid off. 67.95 might help her. Tonya Couch, 14th position, forward 3.5. Tonya, like Sarah, needs to get going here. And it's okay.
Yeah, again, we'll be very surprised if she drops out of the top 18. She was 6th, then went back to 14th. 3.5 fast. Small gap there on the pike. She will work on that. We'll analyse these dives after the championships. Nearly 60 points.
Should maintain the top position. Finally, Kim Jin-oh. A little problem in the last round for Kim. Nobody performing that dive in the last round particularly well. Getting a huge amount of effort and just doesn't seem to be able to get into the tuck and get it spinning.
Yeah, and almost hurt her back going through the water. She kicks and then pulls, and then she hasn't locked out her hands, and she really arches her back. Here, open in the tuck. Needs to get that chin closer to the knees, heels closer to the body, and it would spin much faster.
61 marks though, and it's fine in terms of maintaining a challenge for the semi-final. So third round complete. On we go into the fourth. Choi Newby of Korea with her arm stand. Didn't hold that long enough, but the dive itself was fine.
Yeah, she'll probably lose, instead of 2 points, probably half to 1 point just for the handstand. Entry's good. Technically, dive is not that sharp. Tuck would be slightly tighter.
66 though, solid score. Should take that. Already, after 4 rounds of diving, her score is not competitive with 3 rounds from Chen and Si, and that's the difference. Chose to put the twist in second, Fuka Tatsumi, and it worked quite nicely.
Yeah, we call that a full out because she somersaults first, and now she's out in the twist, looks at the water, and lines up. It's good. She was in 6th place, and she's not going to go anywhere. She's good average score. I should think high 60s.
Yeah, nice flow to that dive.
Oh, low 60. Wonder what they marked off for that for. Coach there was just saying he jumped out a fraction too far.
Tori Lamp back 2.5 somersaults. Dropped out to 19th position now. Was inside the top 18 after 2 rounds, but hasn't really hit a dive yet, Tori. And still hasn't hit a dive.
Yeah, she does train indoors in fabulous complex at University of Tennessee. The Olympic trials or the World trials were outside in Fort Lauderdale, so she would have had some use of getting to an outdoor pool. Big miss, 40 points.
It's going to hurt. 40.60. That puts her under real pressure in the last round. Nakagawa not under too much pressure at all. Got herself up to 4th, but a small miss for Nakagawa in the last round. Back down to 8th.
Tough dive.
Very nice from the Japanese diver. The number 1, showing how it's done.
I do say it's a tough dive because going reverse, trying to bring your legs up over your head and then clear the board so your feet don't hit the end of the board is quite tricky. And scores well. It's going to be a good dive for her. Currently in 8th place. She might even move higher.
Yeah, 68.15. Every chance of picking up a couple of spots with that score. Siyaji, a miss on the last round. But it's all relative, isn't it? There you go. That's how you vanish at the end of a back 3.5.
Yeah, I have to say, Simon, though, she'll be disappointed, or the coaches will be disappointed with that, because although she started well here, and she's squeezing double, now a triple. Watch as she kicks out, she arches her back and doesn't quite get the lockout that we've seen her do before. She's won, in the 4 months that we've seen her, she's been able to get to the top in the world, and that was a miss at 74, that's 86 points she was looking for.
Ticking along nicely, though. We'll take a break there. Welcome back. The Gundry of South Africa in 32nd position. Really, we said the last round was her round to make a move. Didn't happen. And she will be one of the divers that misses out on top 18 for a place in the semi-final at the end of this prelim phase. Stand dive for her then. Again, relatively straightforward. 2.7 on the tariff.
Just half twist.
Just looks heavy, doesn't she, down towards the water, not really getting a lot of elevation from the board.
Back on the end, not quite. She's about 6-7 centimetres with her hands back from the end of the diving board. Not sure that affected her, just needs more practice on the flick off the platform with her feet and her hands.
So 1 round of diving left for Jamie here in Barcelona. It will be her competition over and done. Orozco. Beautifully for Mexico, 4th position. Ooh, what a miss, I'm afraid, for Orozco.
Yeah, I think you spoke too early there, Simon. She'd moved from 6th to 4th. And again, just a problem on reaction time. Good dive, but reacts too late, kicks out too late, and the dive goes way over.
For 65 then.
She should still be in the top 18 because she's so far ahead of most of the pack.
Yes, already given herself a bit of protection ahead of that missed dive in round 4. Smashlik then for Ukraine. Finishes 2.7, 2.9. So these have to be absolutely spot on. Good dive.
Yeah, very good. Stood there a long time. She was visualising it. When you stand there on a reverse and you're waiting a long time, you're just looking in front of you and working out where to kick your feet. And she kicks there and then reaches back. Good control. great tuck position. Look how close her head is to her knees. Now she spots there, first somersault. As she's coming around, she's anticipating the second somersault and got it right.
Lovely job from Gunnar for 66.15, which off that tariff is a very good dive. Duong unfortunately blown it with a couple of poor rounds of diving, the German. Decent dive last round, but probably too little too late. What a shame, Chris. She's found her form, hasn't she, in these last 2 rounds, but may not advance.
Yeah, this looks so much better. Gets the jump in tight, and it's easy to get the out here because she's looking at the water, plenty of time, because she finishes about 4 meters up on the somersault before looking at the water. Much better effort.
Compatriots Homerton Wolfram saw an action on the springboard for Germany, cheering her on. Well, outside chance for Duong, which is going to need a few others to miss. Back twister then for Kormos, who has impressed us today. A little bit shaky in the last round, but overall very good.
Yeah.
Like the look of her work.
Good back twister. Watch this jump. She just goes straight up in the air, into the twist, now into the 2.5 twist. Again, looks at the water. There's no mistake, she was going to get the right entry.
56 marks then for Villot.
Wow. Some of those judges are marking just the entry, not just the technique. It was a good technique dive.
Ramirez down at 31st. The Venezuelans had a few problems in this competition. And another problem in round 4, I'm afraid.
And just slammed her body onto the water there. Very, very slow, out too early. She's got all the movements, but the first somersault was finished below the diving board. You do an out like that if you're spinning very, very fast.
Only 26.10 for Ramirez, and a bit of pain to go. Forward 3.5 then for Caroline Ware, supported by younger sister Pamela in the crowd, medalist alongside Jennifer Abel. No, and that's gone too far as well.
Tried too hard. She ran down the platform and couldn't get the jump up in the air. She's now travelling forwards. At this point, she needs to make an adjustment to the out. She doesn't do it. She reaches like normal for the water, but because she's gone far forward, she's just flown over.
Don't think we'll be seeing Caroline in the next round. We'll be seeing Tracy Tukiet. Lovely reaction to camera after the last round, just a little look and a snarl of frustration. How did she miss it? How did she miss the out? Will she get it this time? Oh no, not quite. Still in there, still fighting, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, the scores will be low because of the feet coming apart. Here, jumping forward. She's travelling forward now, feet are apart in the tuck, feet are apart here as she hits the water. And it almost seems to have a slight twist as she goes through the water.
45.0 once again. That's the viewers know exactly what she thinks. Batke shown quite a bit of character here, Naomi Batke, because she's tipped for a place in the final, let alone anything else. She's struggling outside the top 18, but do you know what? She's trying to put this back together. Needs 2 fabulous dives to give herself any chance whatsoever. Oh, and that's it, I'm afraid, for Batke.
Yeah, too much pike at the beginning, flicking off. It takes too long to get the dive moving. There's just so much pike there. And now she's dropping to the water. Already she's lost the dive. She knows it and can't get the dive around.
Tanya Cagnotto, silver medalist in the women's 1 metre in that fabulous final yesterday. Shouting her approval from the sidelines. But it's not going to help, I'm afraid. Barrow next, reverse 2.5, 15th position, so this is not a done deal yet for Sarah. but that will help.
Yeah, Andy will be pleased with that. Next to him is Edwin Yongyong, former world champion on 1 metre from Holland. Coaches up in Leeds. Well, good kick out and gets the dive around. But she can do that dive even better than that. Thomas, please.
64.80. Yeah, she can squeeze another 4 or 5 marks out of that one easily.
This is an interesting dive. She's the only diver that does it in this competition. It's a flying back 2.5 somersaults.
Oh, unlucky.
Actually, it was a flying back 2.25 somersaults.
Yeah.
Yeah, the legs didn't really fly up. There was just not enough spin here. And then can't get into the pike, drops the feet at the water. It's good to attempt different dives, and she has done that better.
It's a shame, Freya Kobe. That might have cost her everything there. Big moment then for the Romanian. Moment for Yasmin of Indonesia. She's had a couple of quite horrible misses, one of them particularly painful in round 2. Twister then for her. Oh, thank goodness, got that down with some proficiency.
Yeah, back 2.5 half twist. Currently in last position at the moment. Just a little away from the board. Different sort of pike. And it falls out. At this point she's drifting away, and it's quite a slow half twist into the pike position. Again, just needs a bit more experience, a lot more training in the gym.
Glad to see that she's uninjured and diving on, because it really was a nasty dive in round 2. Stopped a lot of people's competitions. Prokopchuk then with her 3.3 arm stand dive. It's okay, she'll look for a little bit more in the semi-finals.
Yeah, maybe even 70 points from this dive. Arm position just slightly off on the entry, but quickly into the tuck. It's spinning now, so it feels good at this point. Kicks up and reaches back. Doesn't grab the hands. That's the only mistake, really. Get 6.5s and 7s. Actually, the judges have surprised me in this competition. Overall, the judging actually has been fantastic at the World Championships over the first 4 days. What, under 70 points?
Yeah, very few raised eyebrows. Virtually no reaction from the crowd. Normally get the odd boo and wolf whistle. Betancourt, 7th position. Watching the Venezuelan diver today. Can she keep it going for these last 2 rounds? Her arm stand dive.
It's her easiest dive at 2.7. Back arm stand with half twist. Oh, she's losing it. Yeah, she pulled it back. Yeah, on the start, as she went up into the handstand, her heels just went slightly too far, and only through sheer strength did she not come down on the handstand. Yeah, a little slow into the twist. Just lining up a little bit late. Small kick over. But she's quite safe. She's in 7th place at the moment. Good technique, going there into the pike.
Yeah, 56.70. May drop a place or 2, but absolutely fine. Another arm stand, this time from Cho Hyung, youngest competitor in the competition today. Outside the top 18 now because of that unfortunate miss in the last round for the North Korean. Oh no, never got the handstand going, and I think that'll be it for Cho.
Yeah, it's going to be very low scores, not only because of this technique off the platform, but in the middle we see the feet come apart. And then here, she continues to twist as she goes in the water. That was almost a failed dive. His lowest score is 2.5. Lucky to get some 4s.
Timoshenina. Frustrating day for this young lady as well. Very good diver, but outside the top 18 by some distance. Her first venture onto the world stage at senior level. Again, another one of those entries that, Chris, you just thought, well, I'm here, I'm just going to go as straight as I can, and hopefully I've lined it up right.
Yeah, exactly. She kicks up, doesn't get her hands fully locked out on the end. Again, we will see a better diver as she gets more experienced, and more somersaults in the gym just sharpens you up.
Yeah, real potential from Shanina. Does Petrikova, her synchro partner. But both of them having problems in this prelim phase. So, Filion shocked us all with a huge miss in the last round. So this arm stand has got to be spot on as she tries to push back towards the top 18.
Difficult now, wind's picking up. She can feel that on her back.
It's more like it from Rosaline.
Yeah, that's what we expect to see from an Olympic finalist. Good spin, and kicks in the right place, squeezes the ears. Well, you know, she's got a chance. She's in 22nd place. This is a 3-3. She's got 3-2 in the next round, and she's only got to pick up 4 more places.
Coach happy.
We did see it in the Olympic finals. Tom Daley and also David Badea just squeezed into the semi-finals and then end up with a gold and a bronze.
The more you share experiences, the greater they become.
Just in time for Murillo. Yes, that was nice. That was really nice.
That's right, there's 2.5 somersaults, 1 twist. Gets the throw in and now out. There's a single twist. Spots the water. That's a much better effort. Completely blew her back 2.5 the previous dive.
207.95, that cumulative total, helped by a mid-60 score. Let's put Murillo back in the mix. Same dive now from Broben, Kozad, and then the world champion Chen to follow. Broben needs this. Dear, don't say, Chris, we're going to have an Olympic medalist out at the prelim phase.
Yeah, she was in 18th place and just 2 rounds to go. What a jump, though. That is good. Double here and just kicks out a little too early and doesn't reach back. Even when she's kicked out early, she should have then pulled the dive around by reaching back harder.
Just 44.55. Real frustration for Brittany Broben, and that's the thing with the elite athletes. They know what they've done wrong. Very difficult sometimes to listen to the coach straight away. Back 3.5 then for Kozad. Not a great round last round, but overall she's done very well.
Yeah, dropped from 3rd to 14th.
And that will help her maintain her position. Good dive from Amelia.
That's the best back 3.5 that we've seen so far. That's certainly going to help her with a 3.3. Strong jump. I think she was fed up after the last dive. Didn't hold back at all. Good lockout on the end. And a big smile to finish. Nearly 80 points.
Wow, 79.20. But as Chris Snowd said, the best that we've seen so far. Chen to come with her back 3.5.
Well, we would expect 80s from her, but she's not as sharp as she could be so far.
Oh, and that is a miss for her.
Yep, again, very hard to do in the first session. Jump Well, the technique's good. It's just making an adjustment on the kick out. Head is stuck forward on the lineup, and that's why her arms didn't move back to catch the water correctly. They'll certainly change that. See, the head is forward, head not back. Coaches all know that, and they'll talk about it before the semi-finals.
God, down 56-10. So Kozad giving us a real masterclass. 3.5, in with 3.5 then from Pang. And gets it down nicely. A little bit ragged through the dive, but the finish good. Coach is just reminding us that that was excellent.
Ooh, a little close there. I think her hair clipped the end of the diving board. She was just behind the two Chinese in third position. Oh, 81.
Wow, 81.60. Pandanela Rinong Pan, the princess of Malaysian diving, really putting on a show here.
She's just gone ahead of Shen Rilin. Unbelievable. Only 0.45.
That's what we want. Good tight competition. And Chinese athletes being pushed. Laura Marino then. France desperate to get someone through, and she's gradually improving as this goes on. The problem she has is the restricted degree of difficulty on her closing dives. May count against her.
Yeah, excellent effort. 3.5 in the tuck position, just 2.7, but it doesn't matter if you're nailing your entries like this. Just one more dive like that and she'll make it through to the semi-final.
Superb diving from Marino, 66.15. Zinger next, forward 3.5 for her, 25th position. It's not over for Sophia, but she's got to be brilliant in these last two rounds. And that one just a little heavy on entry. It'll get us some decent marks.
Yeah, good effort here. Upright, just a little close to the platform with the feet. Almost clipped her toes. Now she came out at the right time, just not confident enough to punch for the water.
60 dead for 2.14. Maria Kojo for Germany. 2.5. 11th place at the moment for Maria. Not the strongest of starts, but she's been good across the last 3 rounds. Doesn't get a massive amount of elevation from the platform. That always puts the dive under pressure.
Yeah, just about out in time. We see a small movement at the end. You're saying just a bit woodeny here. It being tighter pike. Spots well though. Has to put a very fast knee save on the end. And with that dive, at least she'll be safe for the semi-finals.
56.55. More to go, and we should see Korshov through to the top 18. Kim Soo-ji still has a chance of getting there. This needs to be spot on. No, and I'm afraid that is probably it for Kim.
It's just the same as 2 years ago.
Always helps when your coaches and teammates see the funny side.
You need to kick out a little earlier, like now, and she's still holding on to the tuck. Getting painful on the top of the legs, out through the water.
Everybody smiling, but that was painful. Oh, Kim Soo-ji. 3 divers to go, 3 arm stands. Pedikova will be the first, then it's Couch and Kim to finish off. Ooh, and a problem, a restart on the handstand for Pedikova. Up, then feet back down.
As long as the referee saw it. Oh, it's gone wrong.
A shame for the young Russian.
Psychologically, she knew because of that problem, she was thinking about that. It was going through her mind, not the takeoff, and that's why she just delayed. She hadn't flicked off the board, even when she was horizontal. There we go. So the judges will give their normal score, and then the scores get deducted by the computer. Or completely off on the technique there.
48.40, penalty 2 points for the restarted handstand. Exactly the same dive then for Couch. 12th, not a problem in this prelim phase. It will be a problem in the semi-final. Only the top 12 go through. Yeah, good strong diving from Tonya Couch. That will help her cause.
Difference here is the takeoff. Good strong jump. Andy Banks, her coach. Here, the jump off the hands into the twist. He could be a little tighter, but a vertical entry. And at 3.2, she'll score well.
There, 70.4. That's up where Tonya needs to be in terms of competing for the podium. Kim Jinot in 10th. Stand for her, different way round. Well, it's okay, Chris, but wasn't that convincing with the hold on the arm stand?
Yeah, this is just a 0.1 lower. It's quite a hard dive to do. You flick off into the twist and then back out again. So a lot of movement having to be done. Just think she needs to flick slightly earlier to give her more time on the entry. Almost kisses the end of the diving board there. See that arch? She should be flat at this point.
55.80. Kim's going to have to just be wary with her last round dive. That's where we are heading into the last round. See, leads again for China. But look at that. Pang for Malaysia gets in between the two Chinese divers, and Chen, the world champion, the defending world champion, back down in 3rd at the moment. Moving through our second page, all of these athletes at the moment comfortably inside the top 18, and then this is where it's all happening. Reisinger, well done to her in 18th position, getting herself back into it, but Broben and Orozco, well, they're going to have to be careful in that final round. Can anybody else get into the mix there? It's going to be thrilling stuff for the final 36 dives after the break. Stay with us.
The more you share experiences, the greater they become.
Live the World Swimming Championships with EDF, proud partner of swimming.
Welcome back. Exciting final round about to unfold. Just looking at the scores around about that 18 mark, and we've got probably 4 or 5 athletes in contention, Chris, in terms of attacking those already inside the 18.
They certainly have. There's only sort of 6 or 7 points separating 18 through to a 23rd spot. American, Colombian, Russian, Australian all have a chance to make the semi-finals.
So Tatsumi for Japan, her compatriot Nakagawa going much better, but that's a good finish for Fuka.
Yeah, good start, safe on board, fantastic tuck. We've seen a lot of tucks throughout the first 4 rounds that have been untidy. That is how to do a tuck, very compact, and that's why she's just short of 70 points. Good dive.
3:20.50. Keep your eye on that cumulative score as we go along. Now Lamp, outside chance of a qualification in the top 18. We think that there's just enough possibility here. If Victoria Lamp can nail this one, she's going to have to require someone to miss above her, but there is a chance. No, that's the way to finish. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure though. 7 points she's got to try to make up. This she was capable of getting 80 points. It might be below that. Good effort though. Feet are tight together. Locks out on the end. It's a shame she missed her in with 3.5 earlier. Otherwise she would have been a lot safer. Dave Parrington quite happy. That's her coach.
72 for 2:79.25. So remember that score. Nakagawa has dived beautifully so far. Should be comfortable qualification for her. And it is. We'll be seeing Mai Nakagawa in the semi-final for Japan.
Yeah, definitely. Strong diver throughout, very consistent. And she's made 1 Olympic finals, 1 Olympic semi-final, so you would expect to see her even through to the finals here at the World Championships.
21.65, just gets ahead of her compatriot Tatsumi, so very good diving from both the Japanese pair. Our leader, Sid, with a back to 1.5 somersault, 1.5 twists to finish. I'm sure we'll see more from her in the semi-final and final stages when she'll just start to tighten up this routine.
Yeah, it will be a great final. She's currently 7 points ahead. And if she remains in that position, she'll be diving last in the semi-finals. Good final dive. 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists. We do watch the Chinese on their technique. Makes the dive look easy.
Yes, indeed, for 363.5. Yeah, Rivera for Cuba, her last dive of this World Championship competition. We won't be seeing her through to the next stage, but a solid enough finish.
Yeah, 25th in the Olympics, didn't make the semi-final. Again, experience for her. A few little mistakes on form, and slightly short of vertical on the entry.
Tough day at the office by the looks of it for Anya. It's not been a great day either for South African Jamie Gundry. She was on a back twister.
We're seeing 25 back 2.5 with 1.5 twists in this round.
That's a lot of twisting.
A lot of twisting.
There we go. So Jamie at least can take a positive memory away from this one.
Yeah, high score so far is 54 points. That was my first dive. And from there on, she's missed, been down in the 30s. So good at last effort. Might get 50 points on this dive. Best score so far.
64 marks and a smile from Jamie Gundry, but that's the end of her competition. Now, one of the athletes on the bubble that shouldn't be. 17th position for Orozco, and she's better than that. That will help a lot. She would have felt some pressure ahead of that dive, but her score will be an interesting one. It'll be tough to beat.
Yeah, this is a very good back twister. I like the way she jumped up, and she was making sure she's going to get in that semi-final. She wants to prove that she can be better than 17th place.
3:03.45. So that's absolutely fine for her. Should book her place. And Krasnoshlik has been improving steadily. Got a fairly straightforward twister to finish, so needs to hit this. And a long way from the board, just collapsed a little on entry as well, which won't have helped.
Yeah, she was just ahead of the Mexican, so a little loose here on the entry. Wonder if she's going to drop back a place or two.
290.25, yes indeed.
She's 13 points back now behind.
Good shout, Chris, and that's put her in a difficult position. Krasnoshlik, she's going to have a nervous wait. 27 divers still to come. 23rd position for Duong. It was looking like she had an outside chance, but unfortunately missed in the last round, so this will be her final dive. A reasonable dive to finish.
Yeah, just the feet slightly loose, legs could be more locked out. Just being inconsistent throughout the competition, which is a shame. You can see that got potential to be a good diver. Just a few mistakes there, mostly on body tension. Good twist position here. But she would need 80 points to have any chance of getting through to the semi-final. She started 10 points back behind 18th place.
266.60. Kormos has really earned her 11th spot. And that is a miss, but we will see her in the semi-finals.
Yeah, our timing on takeoff was off. Now she throws right down under the board, and then coming around loosens up her back, and the feet kick over. Well, she was 11th, 37.50. That could...
I might have spoken too soon.
Yeah.
That is, well, that's a shocker for Villa Kormos. Cost herself potentially everything in that last round. I didn't think the judges were going to go that low, but they've absolutely hammered her. So real problems for the Hungarian. Ramirez then to finish off for Venezuela. We lose half the field at the end of this prelim, and Ramirez will be one that we lose.
Yeah, the water just hit her in the face then. Didn't get time to lock out. Yeah, no jump off the platform. Elbow was very close to the platform, coming around with a 1.5 twist and scoops the entry.
Just 2:21 after 5 rounds of diving. So Ramirez is out of the competition. Caroline Ware, same dive. What we've just seen, she won't progress either, the Canadian. Reasonable finish from her.
Yeah, again, those mistakes through the rounds where she only got 26 points on her back 2.5. That's where she lost the chance to get through to the semi-final. Feet here coming apart, back together again. A little untidy on the entry, doesn't get the flat hand entry. Chin down in the twist, the chin should be up, just so you get no wobble. Do like that slow motion.
72 marks, so solid score to finish off with, but unfortunately too little, too late. Yeah, we were talking about her having an opportunity still, but she blew that in round 4. Same dive again, twisted to finish. Flat feet coming out of the twist, and that never looks too pretty.
Yeah, too slow an arm swing at the stop, at the top of the dive. Very slow there. And now slow rotation, she can't pull it around. It's slow spinning. And a messy entry.
4.95. That to keep. The big name victim of this prelim phase. Fully expected her to go semis, if not better. Fantastic world ranking at the moment, but will not feature in the next round of this World Championships. What a shame for Italy, what a shame for Noemi Bacchi, especially after Cagnotto recorded that silver medal yesterday. She would have wanted to come in here and do something today.
Now she uses this dive last because it's her best, and she's even missed her best dive. I think her position, she's just really lost the will.
2:44.90. Just looks this competition to finish. Unlucky. Now then, interesting position here. So Sarah Barrow about to dive for Great Britain. 12th position, so comfortably inside that top 18. Looking to book her place, but we've already seen that from Kormos of Hungary, you can lose your way. Kormos dropping from 11th and potentially outside the top 18. No problem there at all, though, for Sarah Barrow. That should be a comfortable qualification.
Yeah, a good final twist to finish. Small problem with the feet, but she gets the vertical entry, and she's just got better and better as the competition's gone on. Was 15th, then dropped to 12th. For the moment, at least she's in 4th.
Yeah, floods of tears for Bacchi. Hours and hours of training, and then you deliver a really poor 5 rounds of diving. I think, we can all feel for Noemi. Kobe, unfortunately for her, had a bit of originality in round 4 with the flying dive, just didn't pay off, missed it, and now has to rely on this twister, but she's not going to get back into the top 18.
No, not with that. Poor technique. Fell away from the diving board and didn't get it jumped up in the air. So this is the 13th of 25 back twisters that we're going to see in this final round. Big splash. It's like a little bomb's gone off as she goes through the water. Splash went up to 5 metre there.
So 2:49.40. Kirby takes her leave from the competition. We'll take our leave for just a minute and we'll be back with more action.
Morocco, the country that travels within you.
Welcome back. Lilia Prokopchuk of Ukraine, looking to book her place in the final. That's done and dusted for her. We will see Lilia this afternoon in the semi.
Yeah, another back twister to finish. It's a popular dive. Good technique. Small flutter of feet. Great pike at the end. And now's her entry. Actually, I think she's strong enough to add another twist to that. Just at that point, feet are apart. I'm sure she'll get that right in the semi-finals.
70.4 for 3:28.25. That's comfortable for Lilia Prokopchuk. 2:78.50 is looking like the bubble score at the moment. That's what Kormos ended up with, but it may be outside the top 18. We'll see. Betancourt. Very nice finish from the Venezuelan. Dived well today.
Yeah, she's been quite impressive. She could be the dark horse, couldn't she? Yeah, if she can maintain her form and get through the semi-final into the final, you never know.
Well, come through this.
Be challenging for a medal.
Top 10. Well, 3:09.30 for 5th place at the moment. Betancourt will be in the final, in the semi-final even. But every chance of getting to the final. Cho Kyung, 2 misses for her, and they were big misses as well. Means that she will not be moving forward.
Best place was 16th, but currently in 30th. Wow, she's going to be good in the future.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Perfect technique, just a little bit, well, lacking power there, but see how fast she is. Into the pike at 8 metres. Punches for waters, got excellent technique.
Only just 14 years of age and needs to mature and develop. Timoshenina in 20th position. One of those athletes that could still make it, needs to get this twister right. It's the same divers we've just seen from Cho. No guarantees here for Timoshenina. 2:78.50 to beat. May not have done it, and Dimitri Sotin, I think, agrees.
Yeah, loose on the end, and she was only 5 points out of 18th place, being in that 20th place. There, she didn't flatten her hand up, and that's caused the splash, not locking out the body on the end. Might not be enough.
Oh no, 2:71.20. We're going to have to confirm all this at the end, but it looks as if Timoshenina has missed out. Now, Roselyne Filion, great dive in the last round. Can't afford another miss, though, like she had in round 3.
This is her best dive. Left it for last.
And that'll do nicely. Filion,
yeah,
top 18, but yeah, it's been close.
Yeah, I predict that she's through with that. Just a little low finishing, but no problem there on the entry. Locks out her elbows. Good finish.
3:01.85, that'll be fine. Next up, Alejandra Estrella, Started strongly, but has gradually faded and has missed all of her big dives. Forward 3.5 to finish. A long pause and a long run-up as well for the young Mexican. And just kind of fell out of that one.
Yeah, talking a long run-up, that platform is 10 metres long. She's right at the back of it. Little legs too. So you can have a choice of as many steps as you want, as long as you're taking off with 2 feet on a running forward takeoff.
Yeah, she's enjoyed her experience, but it won't continue. Estrella out. Next up, Murillo, 21st position. Another opportunity for qualification. She finishes though on her arm stand. Have to score big on these. That's good. Will it be good enough?
Yeah, she does have a chance. She was within 6 points of the top 18. But like you said, it's tough to get a good score on an arm stand. She went down too low with her elbows bending, almost kissing the end of the diving board. It's a bit slow coming off the platform. Form slightly off there.
Yeah, I think everybody's doing Kormos some favours here. Yeah, 62 marks for 269.95. Kormos, remember, with that miss on the forward 3.5 down at 278.50. Now then, Broben just outside. This is a diver that can make it in, but this twist has got to be perfect from Brittany Broben. Well, that is superb, but it's been a very nervy 5 rounds for the Aussie.
Yeah, now normally you can get into the top 18 at around 280 points. And we'll have to see what she scores. That's only an average if I look back over the years. Good effort. Bit low finishing, but straight. Will it go over 280?
Oh yes, comfortably so. Look at that. So Broben hangs on in there somehow, but she's going to have to be a lot better than that in the semi-finals. Now Amelia Kozad, she's thrilled us today. Great recovery from a poor 3rd round dive, and that will be a place in the semis. You really saw her kick out there and go for the water, determined to make that out happen.
Yeah, good effort, in with 3.5, quick kick out here, just a small flick over with the feet. And the Americans, they've got some experienced divers, like David Badaya and Troy DeMay, Olympic medalists, and they have this young crop coming through, and she's done so well today in this prelims.
Brilliant performance, well over 300. Really already guaranteed a place in the top 18. This is about putting the icing on the cake.
She'll be looking to push more 360. She won't want to finish behind seat.
That's okay, but not really that sharp through this first 5 rounds of qualification.
She has been off on her entries. Again, can't fault the start. 1.5 twist. Great pike position. Just means she needs to work on the entries, but I think that will come in the semis and definitely through the finals. Chin in just a little bit.
Well, she's going to finish behind her compatriot, I think. See, in top spot at the moment. Yes, indeed. 350.60. Chen finishes ranked 2nd, so there's a cracking head-to-head between the 2 Chinese divers. Can anyone else, like Pam, get in amongst it? Well, she's the real deal now, isn't she, Pandalena Pang?
She may just squeak ahead of Shen Rilin. She'll need to go something like 72 points, and she will get it. We'll have to see. Good twist there. See the effort and the strain on the face going into the twist. You have to be incredibly strong, half a gymnast, half an acrobat to be a diver.
351.05. There's a bit of news for you from this prelim competition. Pang has beaten the defending world champion Marino for a place in the final. Well, her teammates like it. She's done well. She's battled, hasn't she, through this prelim phase?
She certainly has, and she's safely in with this. She was in 10th place. Not the tidiest dives, but safe enough.
For 298.65, and Laura Marino will be in the semi-final for France. Reisinger then, right on the bubble, 2.7. It's a lowly degree of difficulty for this last dive in comparison to some we've seen today. So this has to be spot on. The entry here has to be absolutely rock solid. No, it's a miss, and that may have cost Reisinger a place in the semi-final.
Yeah, I'm almost sure of it. Again, she just tightens up here. It's spinning too slow. She doesn't hang on long enough, kicks out too early, and catches the water on her left shoulder. She started to twist through the water there.
2:50.45 for 21st place. That will benefit Villa-Kormos. But there are still divers to come, and Hungary may end up with nobody through in the top 18. Maria Kojo then. To pay full attention to this twist to the finish. And again, just the water seems to come up so quickly to some of the divers, and it's that lack of height at the top that affects what happens at the bottom.
That's right. But most of them won't have that problem when we see the world high diving when they're going off nearly 100 feet.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that next week on Eurosport.
She may just squeeze through on top 18.
Yeah, she should be fine, I think, Kojo. And there we go, 294.05. Remember, it's the Kormos score that is under real pressure at 278.50. Kim Soo-ji to finish off for Korea, 31st position, so she won't be heading into that top 18. Flutter of the feet and a real collapse into the water, so not been a great prelim for Kim.
You can tell a diver when they're uncomfortable when their feet actually flatten, not only come apart, but they flatten. See, they go flat there, and then trying to point as she goes through the water, struggle all the way around on the somersault and the twist.
35.20. So Kim says goodbye in Barcelona. Victory 13 watching on the legend of Russian springboard diving. As Pechikova finishes off her programme, she won't be heading through into the semi-finals though. So an unusual situation, a nice finish, but an unusual situation. Russia without representation in the next round.
Yeah, she had two dives just 40, and she had one dive that only scored 30 odd points, and it's just been a bad day for her at all. Like you say, no Russians.
Well, 278.75, we will see. Ooh, well, that is bizarre. So that is enough to get past Kormos by 0.25. Couch then to dive her place in the semi-finals. Done and dusted, that's sorted. Beautiful finish, and that's where Couch needs to be in terms of not only progressing into the final, but actually attacking that podium, Chris.
Yeah, definitely. World-class diver here, uses her best dive at the end. She's got 10s on this dive before, and you can see, watch how she goes through the water. That is as clean as the Chinese divers. Great reverse 2.5, has done well throughout the whole competition. Certainly is another one to watch to push the Chinese.
Yeah, it's very good, and she's going to finish top 10 with that. 71.55, and everyone that gets through just pushing the rest down. Pechikova is going to be the one that gets away with it, you know. Kim to finish off for North Korea. And a decent dive to finish for Kim Jin-ok. And that will be her assured of a position in the top 18.
Yeah, a little loose with those feet, open in the pipe.
Well, that is a really tight finish. So she's through, Kim Jin-ok, but my goodness me, down at 18. We've just been checking the scores back for you. That is so tight. But a couple of athletes missing out who will be very disappointed indeed. It's going to be Kormos, though, that will be the most disappointed. Was comfortably inside the 18. And unfortunately for her, a big miss in that last round. She's dived out of it. Pechikova is out of it as well. This first page, that's all your qualifiers for the semi-final. And pretty easy to see which of those divers will be looking for medals when we come to tomorrow's final, assuming they get through the semi, that is, of course. And that's your second page, all qualified. Marino, good recovery. Filion needs to make some improvements. Sarah Barrow with a very strong finish. But look at that, 18th position goes to Victoria Lamp of the USA. Brittany Broban just squeezes in at the last round. Petkova, Kormos, Timoshenina, all missing out due to weak final round dives. Well, Chris, that was very, very tight indeed. But that's your top 18 going through to the semi-finals, where we will take it down to 12 for the final. A massive amount of divers lost. 50% of that 36 field gone. And some very disappointed divers at the end. Bacchi, the big name, going out at that stage. Kormos will be kicking herself for missing that last round dive. But overall, a really good look at the sort of form that the top names are in. And it'll be interesting to see how that head-to-head develops with China Chen, the defending champion, under a wee bit of pressure. And we'll be back in just under 2 hours' time for the semi-final from this women's 10-metre platform competition, where we will lose another 6 divers. It gets brutal, doesn't it, at world level. 18 down to 12. And those 12 divers will be in action for the medals in tomorrow's final. That's it then from the prelims for the 10-metre. And from myself and Chris, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you a little bit later today.
Live the World Swimming Championship.